Erev Tov Rabotai, we're continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Peah. We're up to Perek Dav Mishnah Bet. In yesterday's Mishnah, we learned Rabotai that the mitzvah of Peah is for the owner to leave it in the ground, the standing crop, and the poor people come and they compete for it, for whoever gets more, whoever gets less. We learned yesterday's Mishnah, let's say you have 100 poor people. 99 say they want it to be distributed equally amongst them by the owner, and one says I want to fight for it via open competition. The halakha is we listen to that one over the 99, because he is claiming the proper halakha that you have to compete for it. That's how the mitzvah is. So even though he's the minority, it's 99 against him, the halakha is we follow him. Today we're going to learn the opposite case. The Mishnah says, Bidalit uvdekel enoken. Regarding the case of the trellised grapevine and the date palm tree, which we learned yesterday that the mitzvah is not that they compete for them since it's dangerous, rather we make the owner go up, remove them calmly, and then distribute it equally. Even if 99 people say, we do not want it to be distributed evenly, we want to fight for it, and one comes and says, I don't want to fight for it, it's dangerous, I want it to be distributed equally, the halakha is listen to the one over the 99, because even they're the majority and he's the minority, he is claiming proper halakha that when it's dangerous, we do not fight for it, rather it's given equally. And the Mefarshim explained, even if this one making this claim he's weak or he's old, therefore he knows he's not going to get a lot if they compete for it, he's not going to get anything, the halakha is we still listen to him, because in the end of the day, he is claiming the proper halakha. Now, there's a machloket amongst the Mefarshim. Some say the implication from this Mishnah is that if all 100 want to fight for it, we'll allow them even though it's dangerous. And some claim no, since it's dangerous, even if all 100 agree, we will ignore them and we will give it out equally. That is Mishnah Bet Rabotai. Mishnah Gimel is going to continue discussing based off Mishnah Aleph. Mishnah Aleph said that the poor people compete for the Peah, open competition. The Mishnah now is going to explain other methods of a poor person trying to acquire Peah where it does not work. Natan mikzat peah uzraka al hashar en lo baklum. If one of the poor people comes, takes some of the peah, and now he throws it on the other peah in order thinking he's going to acquire it, the halakha is en lo baklum. He does not acquire whatever's on the ground, and not only that, Chachamim take away whatever he has. Now the Mefarshim explain another reason this poor person might have thrown his peah on the rest is because he's trying to hide the other grain from the sight of the poor people. The Mishnah says, En lo baklum, he gets nothing, meaning not only is his kinyan invalid, you cannot take peah, throw it on the other ones and claim you're acquiring, that's not a valid kinyan. Not only that, but we take away whatever peah he already had, the one that he threw. We do not want poor people to be accustomed to such methods. We don't want them to get into fights, and we don't want them to try to hide peah from other people. Therefore, not only does he not gain by throwing because it's an invalid kinyan, but we take away what he already has. Another case the Mishnah says this poor person falls on the peah. He goes to a certain corner. He knows he can't grab all of it so fast, so he just puts his body over it. Or he takes his garment and he spreads his garment over it. The Mishnah says, the other poor people remove him or the garment from that peah and they take whatever peah they want. Now, Rabotai, the Mefarshim explain that a poor person can only acquire peah in a valid method of acquiring, by picking it up, by moving it. Falling on it or putting your garment over it is not a valid method of kinyan. Therefore, when he does that, it's considered worthless, and therefore the other poor people can come and take whatever's under him, or they could take whatever is under the garment. Now, Rabotai, how come in this case the Chachamim do not penalize this ani for trying this method? In the previous case, when he threw his peah on the other ones, we penalize, we take away whatever he threw. In this case, we don't do that. Let's say before he threw his body on it, he took some, put it on the corner, that's his, and now he fell on the rest. Halakha is we don't take away what he put on the side, and then the Mefarshim explain, because the difference in the two cases is, in the first case, he used his peah illegitimately. He took some of the corner and then he threw it on the other ones. Since he used that in the illegitimacy, we take that away from him. But in this case, he put it on the side and then he went and put his body on it. That peah he didn't do anything with it. He left it perfectly kosher on the side, therefore we don't take it away from him, we leave it. Now the Gemara asks in Masechet Bamitzia, page 10a, we know, Chachamim say that the 4 amod, the 8 feet that a person surrounds in his radius, he acquires whatever is in it. Meaning, let's say he walks on the street and in his area is $1, Chachamim say he acquires that area. So how come here when he throws his body on the produce, on the peah, or he puts his garment on it, does he not acquire it? Valid question. So the Mefarshim give two answers. Answer number one, when did the sages say that your 4 amot acquires the area that you're in? Anything in your area, that's when it's a public property or the side street on a public property, not on a private owner's field. Your 4 amot are worthless in a private owner's field. You don't own any of that area. So here, when he tries to go on the owner's field and acquire the peah, that doesn't work. Likewise, the second answer they give is that even if, let's say, that the 4 amot would acquire in a private person's field, in order for your 4 amot to acquire, you just stand there and it works. But by you throwing your body on it, you're saying, I don't want my 4 amot to acquire. I want my body being on it to acquire it. And since your body is worthless, you cannot fall on an item and say that because your body's on it, it's yours. Your 4 amot don't work in this case. Because you say, I don't want it to work. I want to focus on my body falling on it. And since your body falling on it is not a valid method, you don't get anything. And the Mishnah ends off, V'chen beleket, v'chen be'omer shicha. The halacha likewise applies by the omer, by the leket, which is, leket is when you are harvesting the crop with your sickle and some of the grain falls down. You're supposed to leave it there. Shicha is when you carried the bundles out and you left less than 2 seah bundles on the ground. You're supposed to leave it there. The halacha is the same. You're supposed to leave it for poor people. So when the poor people come, if one takes some of the leket and throws it on the other, or the shicha and throws it on the other, not only does he not acquire, we take away what he threw. And same thing, if one of the poor people comes and tries to fall on the leket or the shicha, or he puts his garment over it, the Mishnah says again, he will not acquire it in that method. Whatever the halacha was by peah, the same halacha is by the leket and the shicha, that the poor person cannot throw on it, and if he does, we take it away, and he cannot fall on it or put a garment over it. Now the Mefarshim explain how come the Mishnah had to point out that just like peah, the halacha is like this, so too by leket and shicha. So the Mefarshim explain, peah has to be left in every single field mandatory. Leket and shicha are not guaranteed. It could be nothing falls from the sickle, and it could be that no of the bundles of grain will be left overlooked. It could be the owner will take everything. Another distinction is that by peah, the location is known. Peah, you know it's in the corner of the field. Leket and shicha could be anywhere in the field. It just means that he dropped it or he didn't take the bundle. So as a result, the poor people don't rely on those gifts so much. So you might have thought, Chachamim say, the penalty doesn't apply here. You can throw over it, you can fall in it, etc. The Mishnah says regarding here that if you would throw it, the penalty likewise applies here. No, those kinanim don't work. You cannot fall on it. You cannot cover it with the garment. And if you would grab some of the leket or shicha and throw it on the other ones to acquire it, not only would you not acquire it, but we would take away whatever is yours. The penalty likewise applies here. That is the end of today's Mishnah. Amen v'amen.